everybody. It is Thursday. It is March 25th. The weather is great, and we already have some people listening in. So, today, um, I will talk about something that a lot of people have been calling about. So, I just want to address it so that everybody understands where we stand, what's happening, what's going on. Um, as you know, everybody was very excited. Well, our clients, can't say everybody, but our clients were very excited about the new administration because there was a promise that a lot of things will be done um, for the immigrants. And Biden came up with this big, bold plan. And as we know, our country is a little bit divided. So later, um, I think a decision was made that it's going to be broken down into a few different pieces of legislation. So, what is happening? A lot of people call me and they say, Natalia, I saw on the news there's this new law that just passed, and it's this new law. What can I do? Is it an amnesty? How does it affect me? So, let me just start by explaining the following. Our Congress has two chambers, the House and the Senate. A bill, two immigration bills were passed in the House. The first bill dealt with dreamers. And who are dreamers? Those are kids who were brought here um, to the United States under the age of 16, who have, most of them, have been able to apply for DACA. DACA has been in the news a lot since its inception back under the Obama administration. So, the bill that was passed in the Senate talks about a path to residency first and then to citizenship for the DACA kids. The second group of people that is mentioned is the TPS, Temporary Protective Status. There are countries in the world where there is civil war, genocide, military conflict, and that the United States government um, decides to designate that country for TPS, which means people who are nationals of those countries, if they meet requirements, can then apply for a temporary status that will allow them to work, depending on administration, allow them to travel, but does not give them until now, well, for now, any permanent status, right? So those are the two big groups that are mentioned in the first House immigration bill. That doesn't mean it's the law. It only means that it passed the first step. In order for this bill to later become a law, it has to go to the Senate, has to be introduced in the Senate. The senators usually add, subtract language, make amendments to it, then they deliberate on it. Then, if it passes in the Senate, it goes to the president's desk, and then the president has a choice of either to sign it into the law or send it back down to veto it. So I just want to be very clear because I don't think the media reports and some of the news are being clear. This is not the law yet. There hasn't been any substantive changes that have gone through the Congress that affect immigrants. There are just bills that passed the House. The second bill that passed the House had to do with agricultural workers. A lot of them are undocumented. Those are the people who go out and pick out fruits and vegetables Um, a lot of it is seasonal work. United States has a visa for agricultural workers. It's called H-2B, and there's a lot of, I'm not going to say issues, but there's a lot of delays and there's a lot of requirements as to how long and how often a person can get it. So that bill tries to elevate the burden on our country's agriculture. Again, it's not the law yet. So, having said that, having answered that question, I hope everybody watches and understands that. I do want to touch on a subject that I think a lot of people misunderstand. When a person has some significant criminal history, drugs, murder, gang violence, there have been very rare instances in our country's immigration history when the immigration would decide to overlook that and still grant the person immigration benefits, green card, citizenship. Those cases are very case specific. It depends on the timing, when, how, what was pled to, how much time was done, and stuff like that. I believe, this is my opinion, that it's highly unlikely that any immigration law to come would give a blank amnesty to people who have immigration, who have criminal history. Um, a lot of it seems to be targeted at people who have crossed the border, people who have overstayed, but people who have been lawful abiding citizens, paying taxing, having families here, and so on and so forth. A few weeks ago, I talked about the deportation priorities. And as you remember, what I said is it remains a priority for our government to get out the people who pose a substantial danger to national security or public safety. So people who have, I'm going to say, violent criminal pasts, or in aggregate, sometimes it adds up to something very substantial. I truly don't think that there will be a blank amnesty for those people. Another big subject is people who have previously misrepresented information, submitted fraudulent claims, or submitted claims with misleading, fraudulent, untruthful information in them. Those people, again, it's very case specific, but those people, for the majority of the time, have to seek a very specific waiver. They have to tell the government, yes, I did that. I am sorry. These are the good factors in my life. This is how I've rehabilitated. Um, and the government will then decide on a case specific basis whether to allow the person to move forward in their immigration process or not. I believe, from what I read from the polls, the majority of our country supports um, granting a more permanent status to the kids who were brought here um, when they were very young. And to be specific, it is kids who have been brought here before their 16th birthday. So these are not like adults coming across the country. And their cutoff date for having been in the United States is 2007. There's other requirements in it. I will do a whole video on DACA. But majority of the country supports giving these kids some sort of a permanent status. Some of them didn't even know they weren't United States citizens. Some of them had no idea they were born here, and it wasn't until college or applying for a job or trying to register for some sort of school grant that they had realized or were told or discovered that they are in fact undocumented. So majority of the country is on board with that. I don't know why it remains to be a controversial subject, but let's see what happens. In terms of TPS, Again, TPS is temporary protective status. In the last several weeks, the USCIS has designated Myanmar, also known as Burma, um, as a protected for TPS. The reason they did that is because there is violence in Myanmar. There were, I don't want to throw around the word genocide, it's kind of a loaded word, but the country has been in the news a lot in the last 5 years, and there has been some severe violence that was going on. So, again, a person has to meet other requirements, but if you're a national of Myanmar, also known as Burma, you should contact an immigration attorney because it is possible that you are able to get some sort of immigration benefits. Even if you are um, applying or currently in the process of applying for something else, such as asylum, for example, you can still, in majority of instances, apply also for TPS. They do not cancel each other out. It is a great program. TPS is also available for nationals of Venezuela. This was also done recently. So, if you're a national of Venezuela and you will meet otherwise um, criteria designated by USCIS, by Immigration Services, contact an immigration attorney because if you have nothing here, or if you have been here and have a social but haven't worked, haven't been outside of the country, don't have any paths forward, this can be a program that will protect you at least temporarily, where you can um, travel, work, have social security number, be protected from deportation. But please understand there's other criteria that needs to be met. Also, Syria has been designated. We are expecting, not that we're expecting, but we are thinking that some other countries will be either designated for the first time or what's called a redesignation. What is a redesignation? Let's say you're a citizen of country X. And let's say in 2004, the US government said, okay, we're designating that country for temporary protective status. And let's say the government gave you a year in which to register. When that initial period of registration closes, only the people who have already applied can continue to reapply for that temporary protective status as long as the government continues to designate the country under TPS. So there are people who are here who are from those countries who cannot apply for it because they didn't make it into that original um, year or year and a half, however long the original um, application process was in for. And believe it or not, there's quite a lot of people here who don't have any other path to legalization other than TPS. So for them, it could be one and only chance of getting some sort of protection here. So let's recap real quick. Please call us. We're excited to talk to you. But I want you to understand that no new law has passed through the Congress and was signed by the president. We are in, I would say, in initial steps of hopefully having something come about. It can take a year, given the middle of Biden presidency. It may never happen, or the final version of the law may look very different from what the president proposed, what the House passed. Um, the final result remains to be seen. I will continue to update you here every week. I do want to tell our clients that I will be away next week. I will be returning first week of April, but our team and our office remains open. Everything's functional. Call us, email us. We're here. We never stop working on your cases. Next Thursday, Our very smart, brilliant associate Wendy Barlow will talk to you. We're not sure about what yet, but please send us comments or inquiries or questions about what you would like us to cover, maybe cover again, or maybe do a clarification on. We will definitely consider your requests. If anything interesting and new comes up over the weekend, then of course we will try at least partially, depending on how important the news are going to be. We're going to at least partially try to cover it here um, for you. And it's almost like an opinion news story. So news come out, I explain to you what's in it, I give you my opinion on it. Some things will be relevant to you, some things will not be relevant to you, but it's just a good place to start because there's a lot of misleading information out there that people call me and say, oh, my friend of a cousin told me that I can't now do an amnesty under Biden bill or Biden law, and I'm puzzled and confused because there's no such thing. So I am urging you to please make sure you get your information from reputable sources, and then you check that the person you're talking to is in fact an attorney or someone who is actually able to represent you before the immigration services. It is very, very important because yes, you could go and you can apply, and if you have a fairly simple case, you're gonna probably get through without a complication. But if the person does mess up, if you have a complicated case, then the things can escalate and get quite complicated, and it'll take you years and years and years to then unwind everything that has been done. So I was glad to see everybody here today. I hope you guys watch it, email us, give us a call. I hope you enjoyed the weather. It is Thursday, which is almost Friday, which is a great place to be. I hope everybody has a great weekend. For those who are celebrating Passover, happy holiday. For people who will be celebrating Easter, happy holiday. Um, I will see you in 2 weeks, but we are going to be on next week and we are going to talk about something exciting. We will send out an email on Monday and post about it on Monday. Follow us, um, and I hope everybody has a great day. I will see you soon.